Hey guys, I'm Liquid Fire. Thanks for joining me again tonight for another Mechanics Deep Dive. This time we're going to get into the Primos Ki-Yi Predator Caller. And it is actually one of my absolute favorite collars. It's one that I have with me probably 99% of the time, if not more. It's so hard to judge predators. You have to have something. And there's predators in most of the maps. So this is one that I have almost always with me. Yeah, Matariki might be a little bit different, but everywhere else, it's what I'm going to have on me. It's a really simple collar. It only has two levels, so you've got your low fit and high fit, so it's really not complicated in that regard. But it does have some nuances, and there's a few tricks you can do with it to really make it even more effective when you're out in the field, and we'll get into that. So let's take a little closer look here. So again, we're looking at the Kiyi, and the list of animals it calls in is pretty big. So it'll cover the American black bear, the brown bear, the Kodiak, lion, spotted hyena, gray wolf, golden jackal, red and arctic foxes, and the northern lynx. So yeah, it doesn't cover the badgers, but it covers a ton of stuff. It's really one of the better calls to have with you for all of these predators. When we start looking at the levels, again, it only has two. Level one is the rabbit squeak, and that's going to be males and females. So don't get it confused with some of the other collars where it's females only or where the low fit is only males. So this is a combination collar. It will call both male and female. The males will only be low fit. So when you're on level one, we call it the low fit. It's only going to call in low fit males, but it does call in all three age groups. Unlike some of the other collars, the low fit will cover young, adult, and mature, and that's important. The level 2 collar, the dog whine, is in fact males only. So this is your typical high fit only type call. And with it, unlike again some of the other collars, it does call in all three age groups. So young, adult, and mature will respond to the high fit collar. Now, when we start looking at the collar timings, again, it's just like everything else. You have the animal walk in, it takes about 45 seconds or so, it's going to stop. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different depending on the species, how often you get those calls when they stop. So, something like a fox often calls when they stop. Other animals like lions, they don't call nearly as often. It's not to say that they won't, it's just not nearly as often. But they walk in 45 seconds, they stop, they may or may not call, and then you have your typical 15 to 20-second shooting window, just like normal. And then you get the alert, or they just start back. Again, it depends on the animal. With the red fox, again, often you get that alert. But with other animals, lions, for example, again, they don't really alert nearly as often. And if they do, it's not obvious like the fox, for example. But the timing remains the same, whether or not they actually make the alert call. They still do the same thing. They turn, they give you that slow sideways turn for just a few seconds, and then they start back to the herd and trot back. And just like all of the other callers, when they are trotting back, they may go directly towards the herd, or more often, they're going to kind of go off to the side. Something to keep in mind when you're working these callers, um, you can call multiple times and stack up animals, and that's something that actually becomes a really big deal when you're working with some of these predators. So if we're looking at foxes, for example, generally there's only be a couple, maybe a few foxes that you're going to be calling to. So it's not a big deal. You can call once, wait 45 seconds, call again. Not a big deal to try to work through an entire pack. But when you start looking at wolves or lions, you start getting into large numbers, and it becomes really more important to be able to cycle through them. And that's really where one of the big tips for this color comes in at. So if you're trying to cull a large pack of predators, whether it's a pride of lions, a pack of wolves, whatever it is, you have 10, 12, 16, however many this big number of animals, you want to be able to get to your low fit males as quickly as possible. Now, the problem with this collar is often, not always, but often the first animals it's going to call when you're using the low fit is females. So we can stack them. So you can call, wait 45 seconds, call again, and you'll pick up a second animal. Wait 45 seconds, call again, you'll pick up a third animal. Wait 45 seconds, call again, you'll pick up a fourth animal. Just like every other caller, if there are animals which should respond, they will eventually respond. You can just keep calling again and again and again and have them all walking in towards you. The problem with that is if you're looking at maybe 6 or 7 females before the first low fit male responds, you're going to have a long string of animals getting really, really close to you. And that's a problem, especially if you're needing to get that animal closer. If maybe you're taking a bow shot, for example, and you need to get one of these lines from 220 yards away within a good bow range, say 50 yards. So if you have 6 females in front of him, it's going to be really difficult to get that last male, the first male to respond, but the last animal in that string, to get him close enough without getting the others to spook. So you've got a couple options. One, you can always let the caller not completely time out, but let the call time out in terms of going to alert and them trotting back. So you can let it time out until they start to trot back, let it get about halfway through, and then call again. And that's going to basically tighten that group up because they're all going to be running back towards the same direction. And those which are in the back are not going to travel as far as those in the front. So it compresses the pack a little bit. And then when you call again, they all come in together. And I'll try to showcase that in the field for you. But that's one way that you can work with it. And that works especially well with other types of collars if you need to bring in multiple animals and they get spread out. I think we looked at it probably with a deer grunt initially, how to let something run back to close up the gap. And you can do that. It's just slower. The other thing you can do is what I call speed calling. So this is basically breaking the rule of waiting the 45 seconds for the animal to come in and stop. What we're wanting to do when we're speed calling is cycle through as many females as possible to get that first low fit male to respond. Now there may be additional low fit males, and that's fine, but we're looking to call a low fit male. We're only looking to get one at a time most of the time anyway. So the way it works is you make that first call and immediately you start watching the pack to see what responds. Maybe you get lucky and it's a male and you're done. You just do your standard 45 seconds and keep calling and calling and calling. Other stuff will come in, but it's going to be behind it, so it doesn't matter. But most of the time, when you're looking at large packs, most of the time that first low fit is actually just a female. So you let it, as soon as you see it, you let it start to walk in. As soon as you see that it's a female, you call again. Generally, you're looking at about 10 seconds or so. So you make the call, you watch, you see a female start to come in. If it's been about 10 seconds, if you go any faster, then it doesn't really work as well. But about 10 seconds or so, you call again. Now that may turn off that first female or it may not, but it doesn't matter. You don't want that female anyway. So immediately, another female usually is going to start responding. Sometimes at this point you'll have 2 walking in, sometimes you'll just have the new responder, but you do the same thing again. As soon as you know for sure she's coming in, you make sure you've been about 10 seconds and you call again. So now we're 20 seconds in and we've called twice and we're picking up a third female. Give it 10 seconds, call again, boom, 4th female, 10 more seconds, boom, 5th female, 10 more seconds, boom, 6th female. Now the first 5 are probably not responding anymore. Maybe one is, but generally speaking, you're going to turn them off by calling so fast. And that's good. That's what you want. Now you've called 6 times, you've got that 6th female coming in. You call the 7th time, now that low fit male responds. So immediately you go back to your normal calling routine. So now you let him come in 45 seconds and you call again. And then you let him walk in another 45 seconds and you call again. Now what's going to happen is oftentimes you end up start picking the females up again, but like I said, now they're going to be behind the male and it doesn't hurt anything. So I'm going to run through that again because I know that's not really a normal use for the caller, for most callers anyway. So speed calling, the idea is to pull all the females that want to respond first and get them out of the way so that the males can respond. So you call, you watch as soon as you see a female, you give it about 10 seconds total time from when you call again, and that's going to bring up the second female, and you call again, and then you call again, and you call again, and you just keep working through every animal that responds that you're not interested in until a male responds. Now, maybe there are no low fit males. That happens, and that's just one of those things that you can't really account for until you call through everything and find out. But the good news is this caller again calls young, adult, and mature. So if there are any low fits at all, they will respond using the speed calling. So that's really a big tip on this caller. I don't think a lot of people really use it that way, and I hear a lot of people complaining about trying to pull out low fit predators, especially lions, for some reason. The same thing applies to wolves and jackals, anything that has a big pack. Now, your bear, okay, you've got one. It's not a big deal. You don't have to really worry about it too much. If you call once and the female comes, call again and see if the male comes. But a lot of times people make that first call and don't see the male come, and they think it's a high fit. It may not be. So with your smaller packs, if you are getting females to come first, go ahead and call a second or third time. Even if you let them come in a little further, go ahead and make those additional calls just to make sure, because the females will come in first. That's not a first call bogey with these guys. That's the way it works. Now again, on the level 2, you are getting only males. So you don't have to go through the whole process of speed calling to work through them. Now, if there's a particular male that you're trying to get and he is a high fit, you could, cycle through them the same way to get to him. But generally speaking, if you're looking for a high fit, it's a 5-star that you're really trying to pull out. And usually, I won't say always, but usually they are the first ones to respond. If not first, usually second. But most of the time, they're going to be the first to respond to the high fit caller anyway. All right, guys, so that kind of goes through all the basics on the caller. I know in a lot of the earlier videos, like the grunt and the rattlebag, we really got into some of the dynamics with how callers work with animals in the field. I think that we've covered that enough with how the water impacts them, the way they walk around, how they respond. I'm going to pretty much skip over that in this video. If you haven't seen the other videos and are curious about what I'm talking about and how water and stuff like that impacts the way animals will respond to the caller, definitely check those videos out. They'll all be part of this playlist, so feel free to jump into it and take a look. But I'm going to try to kind of shorten up the live session with this instead of getting into all the additional details for the third time. I think we've covered it enough times to where you can definitely get that information if you want it. All right, guys, we're going to jump over to Tikamoon. I found a pride of lions, set up a tower, and we're going to take a look at them and go through some of these techniques and try to kind of showcase how it works. All right, we'll see you in just a minute. All right, guys, here we are in Tikamoon, and we have a pride of lions here in front of us. So let's go ahead and flip on Hunter Sense and take a look at what we've got. So we've got a 1-star adult, a 2-star mature, some looks like 1 or 2 females. We've got a 1-star adult, another female. Looks like there's a 3-star mature, 2-star mature, another female, 1-star young, 1-star adult, mature female, and another mature female. So it's a big, big pride of lines that we're looking at here. So one of the problems that we often run into when we're trying to call low fit predators, whenever it's a large pack or pride like this, is that we end up getting the females to come in first, which isn't really helpful if you're trying to cull your males. So the problem with that is when you're calling, you have to work through all of the females, and that can be a really slow process if you're trying to call everything in on the normal, like 45-second time. But what you can do is speed call. So what happens in this case is if we get females coming in first, as soon as you see that it's a female, you just call again. You give it about 10 seconds total time, but you call again. Now, yes, that will possibly turn off the original female that's coming in, but that doesn't matter. We're not interested in that. What we're trying to do is to get through any of the females and get to a male more quickly. It's what I call speed calling. So let's bring up the caller here and see if we can get a female. Let's see, we're on low fit. Let's see if we can get a female to respond, and if they do, we'll quickly call again and start working through the pride and see if we can get to a low fit male. There may not be any here. I don't know. I haven't checked this herd. I just found it and set up for this. And we may get a low fit to come in first. So let's see what happens. All right, let's see if we get anybody responding here. Unfortunately, there may be something in this bush responding. Oh, here we go. All right, so that looks like we've got a female responding here. So we're going to go ahead and call again. This may not be the fastest because of the bushes and stuff to see what's actually coming in. But we got this female that was coming. We just hit it again. And it looks like nope, he's not responding. Let's go to the camera. See if we can see what else is responding. Oh, okay, so we've got this female back here by the rock, right here. She's coming in. So we're going to go ahead and call again. And I'm going a little bit slower than normal because we're kind of talking through it, but... Alright, so we've we've turned her off. Let's see, what have we got? These bushes are really making it hard to see. I guess we're going to have to go back to the camera. Oh, there we go. That's another female on the right-hand side behind this rock coming in now. So we're going to go ahead and call again. It's just really hard to see them. Alright. So we've hit it again. Oh, this guy stood up. Is he going to turn and come in? Nope, doesn't look like it. So we're going to have to go to the camera again to try to figure out what's coming in real quick. Oh, nope, he is turning. He's coming in. Alright, so this is the one that we're actually looking for. This is going to be a low fit young. So, like I said before, the low fit color does call young, adult, and mature, all three. And we just sped our way through to get this guy coming in. So now, if we go to normal calling, by waiting for him to finish the cycle to the 45-second walk-in, we'll now keep him coming in. Notice the females that we had coming in earlier, we've turned all them off, and that's fine. We don't care about that. What we're interested in now is keeping this guy coming in. So we'll call a couple more times just to showcase that once you get him picked up, he will continue to come in. And we'll probably pick up some more females along the way. Possibly some more males if there's more male low fit in here. I think we've got one over here coming. But by calling normally, using our slow 45 seconds, both of these are going to continue to come in. See, he's stopped. She should be stopping. Time to recall. All right, so he's going to start. Yep, he's coming in more. We've got this female back up and coming. And we may pick up more females. No guarantees. We may. But the key thing is once we get to the male that we're looking for, you stop the speed calling and slow down and start calling your normal times, letting them come in their 45 seconds and stop, and then either shooting or recalling or whatever it is you want to do. And we know that this caller can call in young adult and mature, so there's no reason to expect that this would not be a young low fit. Okay, so we're at our 45 seconds. They've both stopped. We'll call it again. And here he comes again. She's going to pick up. There she comes. And looks like we may have picked up another female back here. But you can see how much slower it is to pick these guys up if you're only calling every 45 seconds. You know, it would take who knows how long to get through all the females if it happens to call all females first. It doesn't always, but you'd be spending a lot more time to get everything coming in. And the bigger problem is, suppose there are 6 females here and you're calling them from about 200 yards away. By the time you get to the male, oh, here they stopped again. We're going to go ahead and call just to keep them coming for now. But by the time you get to the males, the females are already going to be right up on top of you. So you're either going to have to do the whole let them turn and walk back to get closer together and then try to turn them all and get them all to come in again, which you can do. Or you do this. Looks like we got 2 females over here now. It's hard to kind of see because of the rock. I see ears. Yeah, so we've now got 5 coming in. We've got the guy up front. We've got the female. Can't find my mouth. There we go. The female here. A female here. A female here. A female here. But you see how spread out they are? If this male were in the back, we would have females practically on top of us by the time we get him. We're at 86 yards. So we're going to call one more time. And we'll probably get one of these females over here. Looks like she may be coming in now. But had we not went through the speed calling to cycle through the females first to get to the male, we'd have females right up here on top of us, and he may still be way back here, like where this one is, and wouldn't even be coming in yet. So what we'll do, we'll let this caller not time out completely, but time out to where they start returning back to the pack, and close the group up again, and then recall and see how many of them we can get to come back on a single recall. So they should be stopping now. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the caller back up. We should get an alert here in about 10 seconds. They're not going to give us any alerts. They're just all going to turn and run back. Alright, but you see how they're kind of all going, strangely enough, all going to the side, but they're not going straight back to where the pack is. So now I'm going to try to turn them. And if we are able to get these to turn, what we should see is that they become more tightly packed. Instead of being as spread out as before, we've condensed the size. So if we take a look, so we got all 6 of them to come back, but look how much closer the male is here to the farthest back female. Now again, we were assuming that the male would come in last, so we're much closer now, so we'd have a much better chance of getting, if this were the male up here, getting him into a good shooting position if we had to cycle through like that. And that's Alright, he looks like he's tired. Alright, but they have all stopped again, so we're going to go ahead and call. Alright, so we've got all 6. Well, no, he's not moving yet. He'll probably start coming here in a minute. So we've got all 6 of these coming. We've also picked up the other female from over here now. So, I mean, you can kind of see how the collar works. It definitely pulls females of all ages. We've got an adult, we've got a young, we've got a mature. So there's all 3 ages of the females. For the males, we do only have the young, but that's just because that happens to be the only low fit. So we're going to let these guys go ahead and time out and run back to the herd. And then we'll flip over to the high fit collar and start calling in the high fits, which we should have several of them back here because none of these guys have responded yet. It's possible that we just didn't get to all of the low fits because we didn't really try to hit every animal, but we picked up a bunch, so I think that there's probably some high fits that are going to come in. Hopefully we get some of different ages. I don't know if there's a young back there. I don't see any. But we should be able to get at least the adult matures to come in. Now, when you're calling in high fits, generally you're not going to speed call. You're going to just do your normal calling. So let's bring up the high fit. Whoops. Alright, so we've got 2 guys jumping up. Maybe they're both going to come in. Alright, so we've got the 2-star mature here coming in. Not sure that he's coming. Nope, he's not. Alright, so we've got this 2-star mature coming. Looks like it's probably the only guy coming in right now. And you can see these guys are kind of acting a little strange after we called them. They haven't really went back and settled down yet. So we'll wait till this guy, oh, looks like he just stopped. Now we should pick up a second line. So we've got this guy. And looks like we probably picked up this 3-star mature now. Now if for some reason we were wanting, say, this adult here, we could use speed calling to try to get to it. But generally speaking, that's not really how you're going to be doing the high fits. Normally it's going to be generally one of the first animals to come in is the one you're looking for. Obviously here we're not seeing like a 5-star that we're actually looking to take out, so alright, so they're stopping. So these 2 should keep coming, and looks like maybe we're picking up this guy. Yep, looks like we're getting the adult to come in. So there's a 2-star mature. So we've got these guys still coming in. Is he coming in? I don't think so. I think he's just wandering around. Yeah, he's just wandering. So you can kind of see how we're moving through the pack here. Alright, so these have all stopped. So these 3 are definitely on the collar. We've got nothing over here that looks like it is yet. Let's give it another call and see what we get. So there's our mature, an adult, another mature. looks like we probably got another mature coming in now. But you can see how the collar just continues to stack up more and more animals. I wish that we had more young so we could showcase that it does call in young. Again, the high fit and the low fit both for the Ki-Yi Predator Caller actually call in all 3 ages. Let's go ahead and call again. So they both call in all 3 ages, which is really handy in some ways, kind of annoying in others. But when you're dealing with large packs like wolves or lions like this, it's really difficult to call things if you can only to control things, I should say, if you only call on every 45 seconds. What's this girl doing? Is she deciding she's going to walk in too for some reason? Alright, I don't know what she's up to. But it looks like we've got another 1-star adult coming in. So they're all stopping. She's still walking around, so you can tell she wasn't on the collar. She just happened to be walking that way. So all these guys will keep coming in. And let's see, maybe we pick up another one. Yeah, looks like we're going to pick up this guy back here too. Alright, so there we go. That's a young. Perfect. So now you've been able to see all 3 ages come into the high fit and the low fit. I think we had a young for the low fit. But key point being, you can see all 3 ages, and you saw that the speed calling works. And again, this isn't just for lions. This is for any predator that responds to the Ki-Yi call. I use it a lot on wolves as well. I don't really worry about it with smaller packs, and we're just going to let these guys time out. We'll see if any of them give us an alert or anything. Yeah, there we go. Well, no. Well, I think he did the alert, it just tagged it as calm. But you can see them all going back now. But again, this is something that you really don't need to do with some small packs, or like bear. You don't need to cycle through everything in speed call. Hyena, if it's a large enough pack, absolutely it's useful. Lion, 100% useful, as you can see here. And wolves, definitely use them for that. For fox and bear, it's not really something that I would even really consider a need. But a lot of people struggle with pulling out the low fit males, and this is the way to do it. Just go through and speed call. Alright guys, I think we can probably wrap this up. I think that showcased everything we wanted to get into. Between the first section talking through all the details and hopefully kind of showcasing it here, helped make it a little bit more clear. I apologize that there was bushes and stuff and we had to keep jumping around with the camera instead of being able to really watch them come in. But I think you could see pretty quickly how speed calling actually works to get through the pack so that you can get to the animal you want. Alright guys, if you like it, definitely give me a like and subscribe. Apparently that all matters for those YouTube algorithms and stuff, so I certainly appreciate it. If you didn't, let me know why. I'm still learning. No ego here. So if I'm doing something I can do better, let me know. Alright guys, y'all have a good night. God bless and happy hunting.